Hey, greetings, Synapse CI/CD fans! Welcome to this new episode on my Synapse CI/CD's video series. My name is Rui Cunha, and I'm a support escalation engineer on the Azure Synapse Analytics team. This episode, it's all about troubleshooting Git integration related issues in Synapse Studio. I'll be showcasing some typical situations where your activity in Synapse Studio can error out, can fail, and how you can easily investigate further and mitigate those issues. Okay, this demonstration will be focused on a couple of scenarios that you can face when you're working on a Git integrated workspace and you get some errors in Synapse Studio. And before engaging Microsoft support, you can make some checks that will allow you to investigate a bit further the error message that you're getting. So let's start by this message here: invalid Git configuration. So it is telling you that you need to gain access to the repo before publishing any changes. So how you can investigate this further and troubleshoot this kind of scenarios. So I'm using my Microsoft account to access Synapse Studio. Now I need to check my permissions in DevOps. In this case, I'm using a DevOps account that is hosted in a different tenant. So let's take a quick look at DevOps organization, the users, permissions, and all that stuff. So I'm now in my DevOps organization. I'm going to do a quick check here under organization settings. I will check the users, and my user is not listed here. So my user is not part of this organization. So let me add my user. Here it is. Let me add this user to my project. I want to send this, and this will be added to my project contributors. I'm adding my user now. Let's go to my project, okay, and see if this under project settings, I will have here permissions and my user. Here is my user listed in my project. Now going back to Synapse Studio. Now I will refresh the page and see if this will be enough. So I'm not getting any error message, okay, by adding this user. So this can happen. So the user is missing in the DevOps organization and you're not getting any access to your repo. Now another situation that can trigger that error message. Let's go back to DevOps. Let's go to my organization settings, and under policies, let me just toggle off this option here, this user policy here, and back to Synapse Studio. Going to refresh and look, invalid Git configuration. So even with my user that was added to the DevOps organization, the fact that my DevOps organization is not allowing external guest account to access, you will get this error message as well. So two things that you need to validate. One can be the user policies to allow external guest access in case your user is an external user on the directory account for the organization. So this is something that you need to check. And another thing is, in fact, if your user has been granted access to your organization and project. Another scenario that can lead to an error is when integrating your workspace with Git. So the previous scenarios, the workspace was already integrated with Git, and the user was failing to access the Git integrated workspace with that invalid Git configuration error message. Now this is a scenario where we are starting the integration now, and during the integration you select your collaboration branch, specify your root folder as Synapse, you hit the apply button to start the Git integration, and you get this error message: you're not allowed to save to the current branch. What we can check at branch level, if we go to the Azure DevOps and we select branches, you'll see this icon here indicating that your branch has policies. So we cannot integrate a workspace when with a branch that has policies in place. So we need to remove these policies first. Eventually these policies are here because we are not allowing any user to commit directly to this branch, and we set some policies in place here. What you need to do is to uncheck or toggle off any branch policy that is in place here. Back to my Git integration in Synapse Studio, I will repeat the integration process, and now my repo is connected, and then I can go back to the DevOps and set this branch policies again. If we go back to Synapse Studio, and if we pick a script here, for example, and if we make a change in the script, and if we try to commit, we will fail to commit this because the branch policy is in place. Okay, so this is one situation that can result in error during the Git configuration, and you can easily fix. Now let's see another situation. And this will be a scenario that you have created a new workspace and you need to integrate your workspace with an existing repo. So I'm going to start this process again. I'm going to select my organization, my project, and my repo, and my main branch. I just want to integrate with this repo. Okay, now that the repo is connected, I'm going to start working on my artifacts, but I'm not seeing anything here listed. Where are my SQL scripts and my pipelines? Let me check my branch, my main branch. Okay. I have 2 pipelines here and 2 SQL scripts. So why these artifacts are not getting listed here? First thing you need to check. Go to source control, Git configuration. Confirm that the DevOps organization, project name and repo are correct. They are. Everything looks fine. So take a look at the root folder. What I'm saying here is that all my artifacts are listed in the root directory of my branch. Let's see if that is correct. No, it is not correct. My artifacts are not listed in the root folder. They are listed under the Synapse folder. And this is the reason why you're not getting your artifacts listed here. We need to disconnect this workspace and provide the correct information here in the root folder. We need to connect with this repo again. So let's do it. Paste here the workspace name, disconnect, and repeat the process. And this should be the Synapse folder. Okay, now that the repo is connected, we can happily see our artifacts listed here. Now let's check another situation from the monitor up. When we check the integration runtimes, I'm getting this error message. Okay, we are not able to retrieve the integration runtime statuses. In this kind of scenarios where it is not clear why you're getting this message, you can take advantage of the developer tools in your browser, and this will allow you to collect more information and collect the R trace. In case you require to engage the Microsoft support, creating a support request, you can provide the Synapse engineer this R trace to allow the engineering team to investigate this issue further. From the details, from the R trace details, you can by yourself mitigate the issue. In this case, I will show you how you can easily do that. For this particular case, I'm going to select here from the More Tools, Developer Tools options, open the Developer Tools, and from the Network tab, we can record the network activity going on here. So we have here these buttons to stop and start recording the network logs, to clear the network logs, and look at these options here that will allow you to export this into a hard trace, so you can provide this hard trace to the Microsoft support team. I'm going to refresh this page. You'll see all the HTTP requests going on here with the status for these requests. I'm already seeing some failed requests, and I'm interested in particular with this integration runtime requests. So I'm going to scroll a little bit down and see if the integration runtime API call is failing, and here it is. And So this is a request to the management.azure.com layer. So this is control plane related. So we are not invoking anything at the data plane, at the Synapse Gateway service. So you're not seeing here an API call to the dev endpoint for your workspace. And we are getting a 403. This means that this is an authorization error. And from the response, we can see that my username is not allowed to read the integration runtime on the scope of my subscription. This is typically suggesting that I have an Azure RBAC related issue, and I should fix now this issue from the portal by granting the necessary RBAC to my user. But this is just to show you that taking advantage of these developer tools will allow you to get more information about the error message that you're getting and eventually mitigate the issues. So in this particular case, what I would need to do is go to the portal in my workspace, access control. I can check if my Microsoft user, okay, no roles have been assigned to this user. So I'm going to grant this user the contributor role, and let me select the member, my user, review plus assign, granting this role to my user, and now back to Synapse Studio. Sometimes it takes a bit of time for these changes to propagate on AD. It is advised to refresh the browser. After refreshing the browser, now I'm getting the right status for the integration runtime. The API call is no longer failing. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, as we'll be releasing more Synapse CI/CD videos soon. As we would love to hear from you, don't forget to share your ideas and thoughts in the comments section below. So stay tuned, and I will catch you on the next one.